We are live.
Damn, my average view duration is 3 minutes. 3 minutes and 32 seconds. So how the hell are you gonna share something in 3 minutes
And we are live. Are you wearing your headphones for this?
Yeah. Well, I guess I don't need to.
What is up, guys? First episode of the Black and White Podcast. I'm Bobby Z,
I'm Tyreek,
and let's get this show on the road.
or I guess you could just call me Reek if you can see the sign in the back.
Yeah, check out the signs we got customized for us by a friend.
I guess you can't see mine.
And you got the mask.
I don't think you can see mine.
I don't think you can see it. Not at all.
Fuck
I
it.
think you can only see mine.
Damn, I wasn't even going on Audacity. Fuck it, I'm going now though. Dude, this is crazy. How the hell do you share something in 3 minutes and 32 seconds if you haven't even seen the entire thing? So I put out this new mix on Halloween. It's called Freak Show, but it's spelled weird. It's spelled FRIQUE and then show. So I have 10 shares on it, but the average view duration on YouTube says it's 3 minutes and 32 seconds. I don't even think that I don't think I went through that many songs in 3 minutes for anybody to even think like, oh, let me share this.
Yeah.
But then again, I guess that's good, you know, because if you feel like you want to share it already in 3 minutes, then fuck it. I don't care.
So that brings me to the question: what got you into wanting to DJ?
I saw a DJ battle between Swiss Beats and Just Blaze. They're two huge hip hop DJs. And from there, it was just like, fuck it, let me do my thing.
And who are you a fan of? Swiss Beats.
As of now,
Yeah.
as of now, well, like, I don't listen to necessarily them as DJs. I like them more as producers, but I think I was like in a course here at the time that dealt with that actually dealt with like producing and all that good shit. So in that course, like, you learn how to use a mixer, learn how to turn the knobs and all that other good shit. So I was watching the DJ battle, and I remember thinking to myself, like, I knew everything that they were doing. Like, I knew every transition they were gonna make. I just knew all that it was. So I was just like, you know what? This is actually pretty fucking cool. And so it just came to mind. I was just like, why don't I just start DJing? And then I got my first little, like, well, I wouldn't say turntable. It was like a fucking, what do they call it? Like a little, like a controller or whatever it is.
Yeah. Just a minimal equipment to start off.
Right. And even like that shit was not even like $200. I think it was like one something. And it was like so small. And I remember for like days I would try to just figure it out. Like, let me see, what to do, with this, that, and the other. And I could never figure out any type of transition, any type of, how to do any fucking thing. So I just gave up. Like, literally, I would
How many weeks did you take to try to learn?
and that was the thing about it. Like, I would try for like a couple days and then go weeks without even touching it because I would just get so fucking frustrated,
Yeah.
And so then, after a while, it was just like, like, fuck it, like, I gotta, do something with it. Like, I paid a shit ton of money for it. Like, you're gonna either get good at it, or you're gonna end up selling the shit. So, I think the first time I ever, like, got two beats to match with each other, I was just, like, so excited. And at the time, I was trying to use, like, all these instrumentals and, like, put them with another song's a cappella, and it just doesn't work like that. Well, I mean, it could work, but, for me, it wasn't all that easy.
And starting off, especially.
Yeah, because, I mean, I wasn't advanced like that. So then I went and bought a bigger turntable, and I remember I just spent all summer, like, this is before I even knew how to DJ, really. It was just like, you know what, I want something bigger. You know, if I'm gonna actually do this, and I need something, you know, a lot bigger.
Yeah.
So I went to a pawn shop. Actually, that's where I have the turntable that I have now. That's where I got that from. Um, so I went there, bought another uh, turntable, and I just spent all summer of, let's see.
Yeah, real quick, tell them the value of that because you told me that you got a really
Yeah,
good deal.
yeah. Actually, so I have a tractor S2 or tractor control S2, something like that. And that's bad. I don't even know the name of it. But I have that, and online it's like between $300 $400, something like that. And I mean, it's not, you know, the most expensive thing you could possibly get. It's not the best, you know,
Yeah, but it's pretty
quality-wise.
good starting off.
Right, it's pretty good, you know, starting off. And I actually got that for 130 at the pawn shop that I went to. And so then after I got that, I remember I was working at Papa John's at the time, and I was staying on campus, staying at Ferrum to, you know, practice and train and focus on, you know, wrestling and all that shit.
Is this sophomore year?
Yeah, sophomore year.
Gotcha.
So I'm a senior now, so I guess you know, well, it was in between sophomore and junior year, so it was last summer, last year's summer, 2018 summer. No, 2017 summer.
2017, you stayed.
Damn, I'm stupid.
Yep. I remember now
But,
you stayed with Carlos, trained all
yeah,
summer.
yeah. And so then I don't know. One day I remember one day I finally got two songs to match. You know, like I used to watch all these YouTube videos and just try to do it, and you know, the shit still didn't work. Like I wasn't getting it. You know, and one day I just got two songs to match. You know, and it was just from there like
Your passion started, and you really.
yeah, like I actually was able to fall in love with it then, just because it was like, okay, this is what, you know, this is how you do this. This is what I've been looking for the entire time. And at the time, you know, it was like, I don't want to say I was getting discouraged, but it wasn't, you know, it's not like, oh, you were born to DJ, you know, it's
Yeah.
not like I've had this past where, you know, all these people in my family have been really big into music. I'm the first person to ever, you know, DJ, do anything dealing with music.
Music related.
Hold on. Had to take my gum out. So then I remember like even the first day that I got just one beat to match with another. Like I called into work. I was working at Papa John's and I called in sick, and you know I just spent the entire day just downloading songs and trying to make, you know, one beat match with the other, and you know I actually started getting good at it, and from there it was just you know uphill.
New passion and
Yeah.
new hobby. Nice, man.
Yeah.
It sounds like in the beginning you just, you know, had trouble putting the pieces together, but then once you started figuring it out, you really started enjoying it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry, but especially not coming from a musical background, you know, when it doesn't work, it's like,
Yeah.
fuck it, you know,
Yeah,
like
you're
just
like-
to move on to the next thing. But it was like, I'm a media and communications major at Ferrum, and you know, when you graduate, you want to do something that pertains to your field, you know, that, you know, goes along with what it is that you've been studying for the past 4 years, you know. And so, I don't know, it just felt like, you know what to do. You know, like I've been in all these like video classes, like, you know, like video production, all this other shit. You know, I don't want to shoot movies or
Yeah.
anything. Like, you know, I don't want to do that shit. You know,
Yeah.
I just wanted to be behind the scenes. But I've always, you know, been, you know, pretty interested in the art of DJing. You know, and it was just like after I had taken the course, like it was a basic audio course. So after I had taken that, it was just like, you know. And I think I didn't even get a good grade in that class. I think I got like a C or a D, something like that.
Hmm.
But I don't know. Like I learned everything that there was. It was just turning stuff in. I couldn't. I don't know, for whatever reason. It
Yeah.
just wasn't right. Which is why college is a scam. College.
I would say college is definitely overpriced, and as far as what you get out of it, I don't know. I think that's one of the most like controversial, topics right now.
So
Like, is college necessary?
yeah, and so I don't know. I'll say that honestly to anybody. Like I know a lot of people who go to college, and they say, oh, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be a lawyer, whatever the fuck, whatever you want to be. But it's like, is that really what you want to do, or do you just want a degree?
Yeah.
Do you just want that piece of paper basically
Well,
saying, I've done this shit?
well, I think a lot of the time it's like not only your parents like expectations, but like society standards. Like you got to go to college to be successful, and obviously, we're finding out that's not you know the truth, and that you can be successful without going to college, and there's more successful people now that haven't attended college than ever. So to say college is necessary is kind of silly.
It is. But speaking of that, so I'm like on my phone texting right now, texting Albino, one of my good friends.
Yeah.
And so I'm telling him, well, I told him earlier that I had gotten in trouble
Yeah.
or whatever. So basically, I guess, I can say this just because it's dealing with DJing, but I got in trouble earlier in my dorm room because I was DJing and the music was too loud. So I got a 24-hour quiet hour violation.
And that's just ironic because usually Ferrum RAs and Ferrum, officials or whatever you want to call them, administrators are usually pretty chill about um, everything here. Like it's hard to get in trouble here, so for them to get mad about that, it's kind of.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
I mean, so just to give a quick description, kind of like Ferrum College as a whole, pretty small school, 1,500 to 2,000 kids, and kind of out in the middle of nowhere, very rural area, right down in southwestern Virginia.
Yeah.
But,
So
we actually, just to give some history, we were teammates. I wrestled last 3 years
we're
with him.
teammates.
We're teammates. Not wrestling this year. I'm not because I'm graduating in December, so wasn't going to be eligible to wrestle both semesters. Tyreek's in his wrestling heavyweight, and we actually just had.
I'm barely holding on right now.
Yeah, he's barely holding on. He's got a couple problems he's going through, but hopefully everything turns out all right, and he
We'll see
has
how that
a
goes.
successful season.
But so okay, so what made you come to Ferrum? Because I mean, I'm from Martin. Well, I take that back.
You're not from far.
Yeah.
You're right.
I live in Axton, Virginia, which is the smallest of small towns that you could possibly find. But I'm from Martinsville, Virginia. I guess that would be a better way of putting that. So I mean, Ferrum is only one county away from me, so you hear about it more than you're from what, Manassas?
Yeah, Manassas, Northern Virginia, about 45 minutes from DC.
So, I mean, what made you want to come to Ferrum in the first place?
Yeah, I mean, really just wrestling. Went on a couple recruiting trips, couple schools in Pennsylvania, Clarion, Kutztown. Went all the way to Connecticut to Sacred Heart, private school. Then came to Ferrum. I think I came here twice. And Coach Jetzer did his magic and convinced me to come here and enjoyed it. And but I'm ready to move on and get going for the future.
So, I mean, just why not all the other schools?
Um,
If they would have been closer.
yeah, I would say distance for sure is a little far because like Ferrum's only 4 hours from my house. Some of the other Pennsylvania schools were
It's like
5,
only
6.
4 hours.
Yeah, I mean,
I hate driving just
which-
an hour back home.
yeah. So to you, that's probably long, but for me, that's not bad. Um, Yeah, I would say wrestling, distance, and just a small school were the main reasons why I chose Ferrum. How about you?
Uh,
What other schools did you go look at, or
well, I
what made
mean,
you choose Ferrum?
I wasn't gonna go. Like, okay, so my junior year, I grew up this huge professional wrestling fan. So my freshman year of no, not even him.
Nah.
I don't
Who's
even
your favorite?
Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy?
That was always my favorite. And then
Randy Orton? He's got to be up there.
no, well, I say he's probably top 10, but second favorite was Stone Cold. I don't know why. I just always wanted to be like a badass, you know. So it was like, and even in elementary school, like I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily act like them, but I would get into like arguments with my friends and how they have everything like kind of like they know what they're gonna say before they go out there.
Yeah.
Like I would be talking as if like I'm cutting a promo to my friends, like as if you know what I'm saying, like I'm in the ring, like just going off about something. But so my freshman year of high school, I had this idea that I was going to be a professional wrestler one day. So, and I'm not even bullshitting.
Yeah,
Like, I can
no.
go back home and probably find the notebook. Like, I literally sat up one night. I had 3 pages filled with just all these wrestling schools in America. And I was just like, you know what? After high school is over with, this is what I'm doing. You know?
Damn. So it was really like a dream of yours early on.
Like I mean I've been a diehard wrestling fan, professional wrestling fan my entire life. So I guess around my junior year of high school, I had started amateur wrestling my sophomore year, and so my junior year, just within the span of a year, me and my coach, he worked with me throughout the entire summer, and so we would go to all these off-season tournaments, and I kind of like actually fell in love with the sport of amateur wrestling. And so my junior year, he was like, where do you want to go to college? And I wasn't going to tell him, oh, I'm not going to college, I'm going to be a professional wrestler. So I told him, I was like, I haven't even taken the SAT yet. And I mean, he was just like, well, you need to take one. So I took one. And, like even in my family, they knew, okay, well, after high school is over with, he's going to become this professional wrestler.
Oh, so they were fine with you skipping out on college and
I mean, well,
or choosing to go to amateur wrestling.
Growing up, I was never huge into school already as it was,
Yeah.
So my parents knew it was either, this wrestling thing that he's always been, diehard fan of, really passionate about,
Yeah.
or I was just gonna be working. And I've never been like the typical 9 to 5 type of person, And I think that's honestly another reason why I chose DJing, just because you're basically on your own schedule. If once you get good at it, but yeah. So
That's why I drove Uber, my own schedule.
Yeah, Bobby Z is an Uber driver.
Except when I have, like last night, girls throwing up outside my window. But we'll get to that. Go ahead, finish your story.
So yeah, my junior year I took the SAT, and didn't necessarily do too good on it. But they said you can take another one, and those scores combine. So I took another one, and my senior year I started applying to all these colleges, and the only colleges that I got into were Ferrum, Southern Virginia, and Gardner Webb. That's a
North Carolina, right?
yeah,
Yep.
college in North Carolina. They have a wrestling team, but they're not all that good. They're D1. So
Yeah, that's what I thought.
yeah, they're one of those.
I knew somebody that went there.
Yeah, barely hanging on D1 schools.
Yeah.
But I got into those schools, and so at first, my first choice was actually Southern Virginia, just because it was just like this might be where I stick out, on the team,
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was just like, I don't want to go to a team that sucks, but I'm one of the better guys. Because even, like, you've seen me wrestle before. I'm not
Yeah.
one of the better guys in the room, but
You
I
work.
try. Yeah, I
Yeah,
work
you
hard.
work hard and you're willing to try to be the best, dude.
But so I came to Ferrum actually not even because of Coach Yetzer or I didn't even know where Ferrum was, and I live an hour away.
Yeah.
That's the bad part about, like, literally for the first semester, I had to put in my GPS every single time I went home, and I went home every single weekend. Like, think about how bad that is.
Yeah, couldn't even remember how to get home an hour
Right.
away.
And so
It's understandable. I'm pretty bad too.
I came
Good
here.
issues.
I came here just because I wanted to continue wrestling, and I seen that we had a couple good guys. We might be able to do something, and I don't know. It was just like, just go from here. Like, this is a new start,
Yeah.
So that's how.
Yeah, I mean, definitely like when we chose to come here, Ferrum was nothing special as far as wrestling wise, but we knew Coach Yetzer was, well credentialed and experienced, and he coached at Virginia Tech, and we kind of believed that he was going to build something special.
Yeah,
I feel like he has. Like,
and that's because, like, our freshman year, that was the first time that we were ever ranked. So it was, or no, we weren't ranked our freshman year. We was ranked our sophomore year.
junior.
Yeah, and so
This
I
year.
think our freshman year, that was like when everybody just started getting hope. Like, oh, like, we're actually a part of a really good team. So, it was just fuck it. Like,
Yeah, that's
might
like
as well just stay. Like, cause when I tell you my freshman year, I went through so much. Just
freshman
I
year
had-
was the worst.
yeah, I had a girlfriend at the time from back home, and that's even an hour away. Like, I don't care. When you go off to college, just be by yourself. I'm sorry, but
At least freshman year, like
Yeah.
just enjoy it.
honestly,
Don't have to
But,
worry about
um,
others.
I've dealt with that, and then just the stress of wrestling. I've never been on a really busy wrestling schedule, so leaving every weekend for a tournament, then having to turn around and wake up, now at 6 a.m. practices, and you go in there and get your ass whooped for a good hour 30 minutes.
Yeah, every day.
Yeah, and it's rough, and I mean, the coach, unless you're like one of the better guys, he doesn't really want, or not necessarily want, but he's not gonna
He may
necessarily
not
have
devote all his attention to you right
right.
away.
He's not gonna have a lot to say to you, and it was just hard, starting off, and I think that that's really, um, kind of what made me stay in the first place. Actually, was just understanding, like, okay, so this may be hard, but fuck it, like, you gotta stick with it.
Yeah, gotta tough it out. Um, yeah, that while we're on the topic, just being a college athlete, like, what do you think is the biggest benefit and maybe the biggest downfall, or about being a college athlete? Like, obviously there's pros and cons to everything. So, from your experience, what have you found the most to be beneficial to you being a college athlete? And
I think probably the biggest benefit, um, just the brotherhood. Honestly, like, you want success, obviously.
but the
Excuse me.
relationships and the friends you get along
Right,
the way,
right, and
yeah,
so
definitely.
you strive for success, of course, and you want to win, and all these other types of things, but um, just the people that you meet in the process, because not everybody, like, in high school, everybody was from, like, I grew up in Henry County, so everybody was from the county, or they was from Martinsville City, and there's not much of a difference.
Yeah,
We've seen guys from
all over, all different
California,
cultures.
Florida, Tennessee, Pennsylvania, New Jersey.
The list goes on. Yeah,
Yeah. I remember we had one guy from Connecticut our freshman year.
Moeller.
No.
Steven.
It was his last name was Koosley. Do you remember him?
Koosley. No.
He was a
Isn't
he was a black
Steve-
dude. He had dreadhead. He was a dreadhead.
Oh, I do remember. Yeah, I do.
He was like
remember.
pretty big.
He was really nice.
Yeah.
Super genuine.
Yeah. Um, but I mean, yeah, just seeing a whole bunch of people and realizing, they're not necessarily much different from you. They may have a different slang or a different, lingo in how they talk, but
Yeah.
you everybody really comes to college to, I guess, better themselves and just meet new people, and find a new beginning.
Yeah.
But I guess what'd you say the downside of it?
Yeah, like what's maybe the worst thing about being a college athlete?
Just the stress over time. I wouldn't even say
Just
a
the shit
college
you gotta
athlete.
put up with.
I would say a wrestler in general in college because I don't care. I could do a team sport and do whatever the fuck I want to any day.
Yeah.
But when you're wrestling and I mean you got a college life and you have a wrestling life. Or for me you do. Especially this isn't gonna be my entire life. So after this it's like it's over.
Yeah.
So you have your wrestling life that's super healthy and I mean my dad's good, but you're always at practice, always looked at as this captain, and then you have your college life where you go out, you drink, you party, all this other shit, and it's just like finding a balance between the two. And I remember my sophomore year, I cut down to 197, and
What weight did you cut down from?
I was heavyweight. So my freshman year, I came in and I was 250. My
Two
freshman year.
fifty.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And
250
so,
to 197.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a.
that was a huge cut. But I mean, I felt good. Like at first, when I first got down, I had abs. I had the whole 6-pack going on, and that was the first time I ever even seen.
You were probably feeling good about it.
Yeah,
Actually.
that was the
Even
first
though
time I
you were
ever
cutting a lot of
seen
weight.
abs.
Yeah.
And so just halfway through the season, got too caught up in I guess my college life. And when coach says everything, matters. Staying up late at night. Um,
Going to sleep early. Getting,
yeah, just
Getting rest. Getting
your diet, what you eat before you go to sleep, the people that you keep around. Which is why now.
You keep your circle kind of smaller, I think. Huh?
Yeah, my circle is very small, and I don't hang out with any athletes. I don't hang out with any wrestlers because it just drains you. Like I just wasn't around the right wrestlers at the time. So everything just started to kind
Yeah.
of and then I got into another relationship that shit was toxic, and everything just started to kind of you know just go downhill. My body started looking terrible. I started feeling terrible in practices, like it was just a lot, and so from there it was just I just kind of knew, all right, this is I guess the worst part,
Yeah.
like it couldn't have gotten any worse than that. But yeah, probably just the stress that comes
Yeah.
along with it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think that's like a big thing that people, don't realize. Like you saying, you don't hang out with your teammates. That's not a shot at them. Like you love them. Like they're like a brothers and family.
Yeah,
but
I don't hang out with my teammates just because I feel like
no, it's like hanging out with your brother too often. Like you're gonna chip at each other. You're gonna get mad. You're gonna get in arguments.
Right.
The same thing
And-
with your teammates. Like you love them. You love hanging out and
and
or
so
maybe you love like doing the sport with them, going through the grilling practices and all that. But you need like your separation from them, like a mental break, and just to be able to hang out with normal people. Honestly, like wrestlers are crazy. Like we do stuff that most people wouldn't do.
and so that's the thing about it is, I'm seeing y'all every day.
Yeah.
Like I see y'all more than anybody else on campus. Then
6
on the
a.m.,
weekends,
6:30.
we leave for tournaments Thursday, Friday nights, and don't get back till Sunday. Like I'm with y'all the entire weekend. I don't want to be around y'all during the week.
Yeah.
And I mean it's nothing
No,
against
I
y'all, but it's just you know
I totally understand.
I feel like you need that balance, and a lot of people on the team end up quitting because I feel like they start to think I don't have a balance between wrestling and my life.
Well, that's the problem. I think people, and
Hold
I've been
on,
go. Yeah,
hold
go ahead.
on. 10 seconds. Tyreek has to piss.
All right. Yeah, I'll take over. Wow, he goes and piss. I think that's the problem. People have a hard time separating their life from their wrestling life. People get caught up in their wrestling life and think wrestling's everything, which it is. It needs to be a one of your top priorities. But if you're putting that stress on yourself, your regular life, you're in and out of everyday activities, and you're not gonna be happy um, daily if you're constantly over stressing about wrestling and doing this, or I messed up there, I should have done this in a match, or I shouldn't have ate this, now I gotta go run for another hour and lose these 2 pounds, whatever it may be. um, I think I've definitely been guilty of that, like just over stressing over wrestling, and it's impacted like my day-to-day life in a pretty big way. But here he comes. Let's see what the man has to say. I just pretty much talked about how over stressing over wrestling, in particular, can impact your life in a negative way. Like, you eat something, right, and you're like, oh, you ate a little too much. You got to go run for an hour. Just because you made a poor choice, like that's gonna ultimately impact your mood, your mental.
That was how it was when I was 197. When I
Yeah,
was cutting down, of course, but I don't know, at heavyweight, and this is why, like, I'm a pretty small heavyweight, I'm 230. So, when I go out there against a guy who's even 250, you can tell the difference. And so, my mindset really is just, I have to outwork him, in a sense of, use your speed, use your technique, what little technique I do have. But, when I was 197, it was a lot in, how I ate. Because, I remember I had this huge, like, outbreak of whatever it was on my face.
yeah.
And so I wouldn't go to the,
What was it? Ringworm or
no, it
was it
was
just like?
actually, it was an ingrown hair. I went to the,
Oh,
clinic
that's
for it,
right.
and they said that it was just an ingrown hair because I remember I shaved before practice one time for whatever fucking reason.
Yeah.
And like usually I use an electric razor, but this time like I think mine messed up or something like that, so I had to use a
Normal.
yeah, like a
Yeah.
Gillette, whatever the fuck it is.
Handheld razor.
So I used that, went to practice, and I remember like the side of my face was just like itching after practice. I woke up the next morning and it like my
It's a
cheek was,
huge bone.
yeah, like my
It was
cheek was the
blown
size
up.
of a fucking golf ball.
Yeah, it looked like he got socked right in the side of his cheek.
And so from there, I remember I had a girlfriend at the time, and I would get her to, like, I would drive to the Dollar General, on campus,
Yeah.
and I would tell her go in there, and I didn't want anything but cereal at the time because that was the only thing that you could eat where your weight wouldn't just fucking skyrocket. And I couldn't work out, I could run, but I don't feel like running. And so I took maybe, let's see, 2 weeks off,
Yeah.
something like that. And so in that 2 weeks, it was just, you know, all I ate was cereal, and all I did was sleep. I didn't try to train or anything. So when I came back, I looked awful. Like I looked so skinny.
I remember that because Yetzer
Yeah,
freaking
he
dug in on you about that. He's like, like, look at your body. Like,
yeah, he pointed that out every opportunity that he got.
Tyree comes back after 2 weeks and just gets freaking.
Literally, and that's the
Um,
crazy part about just your body. Period. Like
yeah,
when people say oh your body is a temple, like that shit's real. Because I went from having abs and I just felt like a fucking brick at one point. And then I remember we went to the York tournament, York, Pennsylvania, and that's always like one of the toughest
Yeah.
tournaments of the year.
tough
And
one to
so
start.
yeah, so went there, and I went 2 and out, I got pinned in the first period in both of my matches, and I remember, I was just like I got to do something.
It's kind
about
of a
this.
wake up call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so my sophomore year at 197, I didn't really have that much success. At the end of the year at the conference tournament, I ended up getting third, and I beat I beat the guy that I lost to in my first match at the tournament.
Yeah.
I beat him to get third and fourth. So, I guess that was kind of like my claim to fame for my sophomore year. And junior year, I ended up getting at the end of the year a big win award for beating the national qualifier. And I don't know, it was just a huge wake up call. Like,
Yeah.
you either have to stay healthy and maintain all this shit for 197, or go back to heavyweight. And I remember, I remember thinking to myself, in between my sophomore and junior year, I was like, yeah, I guess I'll go, 197 again, just to, you know, just to
Yeah.
see what else happens. But then we ended up losing uh, our heavyweight. He ended up getting hurt. So, once the beginning of the year comes, everybody's like, who are we gonna have a heavyweight? Who are we gonna have a heavyweight? Well,
Yeah.
we had Hunter at 197 our junior year,
Yep.
and I was also 197.
Hunter's my roommate.
So, and
Shout out G Money.
yeah, he was pretty fucking good, and so
Yeah, so Tyreek and Hunter they were in the same weight class.
yeah, I thought you were gonna say like we would go at it.
Oh, you would go at it too.
Yeah.
Hunter would.
I don't know. Our junior year we would go at it, but the sophomore year he used to
He got the
beat
better of you.
my ass.
Yeah.
Like it was terrible. I used to sometimes honestly hate going with him, but so we had to figure out, okay, so who's gonna be heavyweight?
Yeah. Are you going up? Are you staying down?
Right. And so we didn't have necessarily anybody who was good at the time. Like we had freshman heavyweight coming in, but one was like really small, like even smaller than I was. Like he was like 203, but he just refused to cut down to 197, which was,
Yeah.
just completely fucking beyond me.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. And so aside from him, we had another heavyweight, but he wasn't all that good, all that experienced either. So it was just like my coach came up to me. He said, "We need you to wrestle heavyweight for the Washington Elite match, which is always our first match of the year." And so I told him, I was like, "Okay," and he was like, "Well, you can decide from there whether you want to go 197 or heavyweight." Like he basically said, it's in your hands, because last year I didn't, or my sophomore year I didn't do too hot, and it was just like,
Pressure was on.
right. If it was like if shit is gonna be iffy, then heavyweight might be your best option.
Yeah.
So I told him
You were already probably you were still cutting down.
yeah. I was,
So it was like midway. It was
he-
kind of time to make a decision. Like,
Yeah,
am I
when
gonna
he
cut the
told
rest
me-
of this weight or?
when he told me, we need you to wrestle heavyweight. Uh, I think I weighed. I was probably 207, somewhere around 207 and 210 at the time. So I was on my way down to 197, but at the same time, it was like, if you're allowing me to
Go
and-
up. I'm
yeah,
going up.
Yeah, I mean, no
Better
wrestler is
believe.
gonna, disagree with their coach as far as going up in weight.
Yeah.
But yeah. So then,
So how did that match go?
no, I got pinned. I got my ass whooped. Actually, or no, I didn't get my ass whooped. I took a bullshit shot, and it was a pretty fucking big heavyweight. So I
Yeah.
didn't try to get an angle or anything. It was just like I had gotten so used to 197 to the point where it was like okay, just take a shot.
Yeah.
Like the guy's weight isn't gonna
And you
be
just
a problem.
shot and he flattened you.
Yeah. It was,
Yeah.
my God, did he flatten me? But yeah, I ended up getting pinned in that match, and yeah, it was just like, fuck it, I'm still going heavyweight,
Yeah.
So I didn't try to necessarily put too much emphasis on the loss. I just kind of tried to bounce back from
Learn
that.
from it.
Yeah, and
Start
then
getting bigger and
the next tournament, which we're about to go back to this Saturday. The next tournament was the Casperson, whatever.
classic.
Yeah, and I ended up getting second at that tournament. So I was like, okay, well, this is
Good improvement.
right.
Yeah.
And there it was just like, you know, I went to York and went 3-2,
Yeah.
and
That's
wasn't-
pretty good for
right.
the level of tournament that is. It's one of the toughest that probably in D3 or that at least we go to.
Right. And so then let's see. I didn't really have a good into the first semester, like going into Christmas and all that. I remember going into Gator Boot, or actually at Star City, I didn't do too hot. I ended up getting sixth. Um, at Gator Boot, I got teched by a B team wrestler,
Yeah.
which I've never been teched in a match before. So to get teched by a guy who was on the B team was like, and basically B team is like a JV squad.
Yeah.
So that happened, and I remember just coming back into January. I had like second semester. I had a different mindset. I had a different goal, and it was just finish the year out strong. Like this is. I feel like our team especially, we compete better during the second semester. Once
Yeah.
everybody, just like okay, enough with all the tournaments every single week. Like I
Yeah.
can finally rest. My body is not all torn to fucking pieces. And so, I kind of came back with a different attitude, with a different mindset, and I don't know. I just knew, okay, if there's ever gonna be a time where I need to step up and do this now, and so then I I remember I got put in at Virginia Duels. We was in the third and fourth place match, and I got put in at heavyweight. And basically, it came down to my match. If I won, or no, we were already winning as a team, but they needed a pin or they needed a major or something like that. So it was like if I won, then we won,
Yeah.
even more. But if he won, depending on how he won, it could have cost us the entire match.
Yeah.
And I went out there and ended up winning 6-1. Like just broke the guy. And so that was kind of like my, well, at the time, I thought, okay, this is gonna be my highlight for the year.
Yeah.
Just ending Virginia Duels off for us. Because did you go to Virginia Duels?
Yeah.
So how just a lot of guys started arguing with,
Yep.
it was definitely not a
Team drama.
yeah.
Normal.
So
After this, we'll get into some other topics.
all right. So then
But yeah, I want to hear this.
when I thought that Virginia Duels was kind of gonna be like my,
Hot like
My
moment
highlight
of
for
the
the-
season. Yeah.
and so the starters went to Pete Wilson, which is even harder tournament for I guess just the starters in D3, and so our starting heavyweight Alvino at the time, he ended up getting a concussion. So the next week I had to wrestle the match that he would have gotten against Southern Virginia, and I've beaten guys from Southern Virginia, plenty of times. It's not really a hot school. They're not really all that good.
Yeah.
But they had this freshman who was the national qualifier.
Yeah. Their best guy was their heavyweight.
And he was a
Probably.
freshman.
Yeah.
That was the crazy part about it was, this guy just came out of nowhere. He was a transfer actually, which is why I didn't see him at the Southern Virginia tournament
Earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we went against Southern Virginia, I was thinking, okay, I've seen their heavyweight wrestle before, and I've even wrestled them, I pinned him in 30 seconds. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna go out here and get an easy win. You know,
Yeah.
that's that. All of a sudden, they bring out, the like, they didn't have him in the lineup.
Yeah.
They didn't have him on the roster. So before, you know, the night before
Yeah.
a tournament or a match,
You
you might go
usually
through
know.
a team roster or
Yeah.
some type of shit to psych you out of a fucking match. And so,
It really does. Like people invest too much time in looking at who they're gonna wrestle, and especially looking at brackets and stuff at the
Right.
tournaments. It messes with you.
And so, when we went against them, just this big ass heavyweight just came out of nowhere, and I was wondering, like who the fuck is this guy? Because our coach, Yetter had told us or told me, before the match, like, hey, this is gonna be a huge match for you. If you win, then that's pretty big because they were saying their heavyweight is beating guys that you've lost to. So I was thinking like, this guy can be, you know,
Yeah.
like he beat one guy in particular that I remember from Greensboro College that I lost to, the only guy that I ever lost to from Greensboro, and I even lost that match because of some like a bullshit throw that I tried.
Yeah, I remember that. And then
Yeah, it wasn't too pretty.
aftermath.
Yeah, and so I was just thinking, he can't be that good, but when we got out there, I ended up beating the guy 12-6. But when I tell you, like, it was so fucking hard,
Yeah,
and I mean, I ended up getting big win award.
I
for it.
remember. I feel like that was one of your most like complete matches wrestling, like because you wrestled the whole time.
Yeah.
You kept scoring, and
Yeah.
it was against like a pretty good dude, national qualifier. So
The dude was just strong as a bitch. There was no, like, I'm pretty good on top,
Yeah.
as far as putting in legs and all that. So I had to rely on that.
yeah,
And like, I even had riding time with it. But at the same time, it was just like, this dude may have been probably the strongest guy that I ever wrestled. And it's not even just like, oh, he's just freakishly strong. It's because he used that shit the entire fucking match.
he
Like,
knew how to use his strength.
it was that mixed with I mean, when you're beating a guy or when you're losing, I was winning at 1.6-1. you know you start to kind of just like, well, fuck, you're kind of like fatigued now, so now you don't have the same strength as you once had in the match.
Oh yeah,
But this guy just kept fucking coming at me, and he just would not stop moving.
yeah,
So it was just like, that was probably the toughest match that I had to like just say fuck it and just keep going with.
yeah. Probably the toughest, but one of the best feelings afterwards.
Yeah,
So
definitely. Especially at the end of the year when I got the big win award, it was kind of like
pretty
I earned
cool
that
moment.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Um, let's see, what can we get into? Well, I guess since I mentioned it earlier, the Ubering.
Oh yeah, Bobby. Yeah, Bobby Z is an Uber driver
I am an Uber driver.
who gets throw up on the side of his fucking car.
Yeah, so a little background history. This summer I started because I went to Delaware. I was in Lewis, right near Dewey and Rehoboth, and I was doing an internship at a physical therapy clinic, and I was like, I need some on the weekends to make extra money. I was thinking about serving, but then I got into Ubering, and I really liked it. Like, it was cool, like talking to people. I already, as you know, like I enjoy talking to people and having conversations with all, the variety of people that you'll come across Ubering. And it was in a good party town in Dewey. If you've ever been to Dewey or haven't, you should go. It's awesome for college kids. And so I started there, but now that I'm back at school, the closest city as far as Uber wise is Roanoke. So I'll go to Roanoke and Uber. And last night, I started pretty early,
Yeah.
probably like 5.
Okay,
Went
so
to,
I want to know something.
yeah.
Like, do you get a lot of like business in Roanoke though?
Yeah. So this is how I always tell people, like, cause there's only 4 Uber drivers. There's myself and 3 others. So that's not a lot,
Mm-hmm.
considering the amount of people that probably need Ubers. especially like when
Wait,
we're
how do you
out.
know? Do y'all just like
Um,
retreat to the same area?
no, you
Or-
can like look on the Uber app like how
Oh,
many
okay,
drivers
okay,
are
okay.
online. So I always see there's only four, which is good. And Roanoke's a big enough town where they're gonna be using Uber and you're gonna be getting rides pretty consistently. Like last night was the first time I had like an hour break, maybe almost an
Right.
hour without a ride. But usually it's pretty consistent. Like back to back, I'm getting rides.
Right.
Um, but last night was like 1, maybe 1:30, and I get these three girls, all pretty trash. They're eating Benny's pizza in my car. Um, they're being all right, but the one in the back right isn't talking much. The other two are talking a bunch. I'm like, well, that's kind of awkward or kind of weird. Two of them are talking a lot, and I'm sure they're all friends, but the other one's not talking. And then all of a sudden, I hear in the back the girl in the middle saying, "Oh, you need to throw up," and then starts rolling down the window for her. And I'm like, Jesus Christ! Like, I mean, I have grocery bags in the sides of my doors, but that's about it. Like, I really wouldn't like you to throw up in my car if you can help it.
Yeah.
And so they start rolling down the window. She's throwing up out the window. I pull over.
Oh shit! She actually like did start throwing up.
Oh yeah, she was throwing up while I was driving, and then the girl in the middle was like, "Can you pull over?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." Hand her a grocery bag. She's like wiping her mouth with that. She didn't get any throw up in my car really,
So
except for like
instead of throwing up in the grocery bag, she wipes her mouth with it.
yeah. Well, she was almost done throwing up at that point, so it was kind of just cleaning up the mess, and she got a little bit like on the car door, like the inside, but very little. Could easily wipe it off, but the outside is where she did damage. Um, but I actually contacted Uber today, and I think they gave me $80 for like cleaning fee. So that's kind of cool. Cause actually, I still need to like finish cleaning off the side of my door.
That's pretty fucking disgusting. I would have honestly made them clean that shit. I would have found a car wash.
I mean, she was just so drunk. I was
I
like,
don't
I feel
I don't
bad.
care.
I'm like, like we're almost there. Like we'll be 5 minutes and we'll be home.
I
But
don't care.
yeah, no. At the same time, it's like, come on, like you gotta be responsible and
I mean,
be responsible for your actions.
just me being how I am.
You would have flipped out probably. Yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't have necessarily flipped out,
but
but
you would have took initiative right
for
there.
her friends who were obviously more sober than she was, even though
A little bit. I
Pretty-
mean, they were pretty drunk too.
they were perfectly fine to help her though. So I would have put over to a car wash and made them help me.
Yeah, but it's like 1:30.
I don't give a fuck.
Do car washes go on during that time?
You can a car wash.
Yeah.
Nobody works at a car wash. You can pull up to a car
Well,
wash
it's-
whenever.
Well, that's true, but I feel like they have them only online and going at certain times. I don't know. Either way, it's like 1:30. I was like, I'm not gonna
No, fuck
do that right now. I just gotta get these girls home
I
and
was
get
gonna
the
do
fuck
that.
out of my car.
I was gonna do that. They can go home after they clean up what the fuck their friend did. I didn't get them that drunk.
Yeah.
I don't drive their car.
But you gotta realize that's like what you signed up for being an Uber driver.
I
You
didn't
kinda-
sign up for that. I signed up. If I'm an Uber driver,
You
I
signed up
signed
to make money and drive people, but
Right.
you also have to expect
I don't have to
that
expect
possibility.
anything. The only thing I expect as an Uber driver is you getting in my car
And
telling
you
me where
getting out of
need
my
to go.
car.
Yeah, and getting out of my car.
Yeah.
I don't expect 1:30 in the morning throw up on the side of my fucking door. I didn't get you that drunk,
Yeah.
No,
I mean, I can see your side. No, but being an Uber driver, it's kind of cool. You get a lot of cool experiences. You meet some cool people.
trust me. I mean, I was never an Uber driver, but just working at Papa John's. My very first delivery was to I guess a tranny, whatever you want to call them,
Yeah.
a transvestite, transgender, whatever. So I
Don't hate
remember,
us trannies.
yeah, I don't have a problem with
Yeah.
gay people or whatever you choose to do with your life.
Gay,
as long
straight,
as you
bisexual,
don't
whatever
come in,
you
yeah,
want.
as long as you don't come at me with that shit, I don't necessarily care. But so when I first started working at Papa John's, I worked there for the better part of 4 or 5 years. Well, I had just turned 18, and I was just like, I might as well start being a delivery boy because delivery, as far as like working at a Papa John's, Pizza Hut, whatever, that's where the money is. And so I I started I became a delivery driver, and my first delivery, well, you had to go on a ride along with somebody else who was already a delivery driver.
Yeah.
So my ride along was, um, pretty chill, pretty calm, and the guy ended up getting tipped like $5, $6. So I was just like, okay, well, it's a start, because you take a lot of deliveries, so you take 20 deliveries and get a $5 tip, minimum. What is that? That's
$5.
That's $100.
Yeah.
Like you're leaving with $100. So, um, I was just like, okay, well, this is gonna be pretty easy. So, I went like after you go for the ride along, you have to go, by yourself to, let them know, all right, you're fine. So I pulled up to this little like ghetto like project looking area, and there was I mean just not really any place to park, so I ended up just parking like literally just in the middle of like a little like I don't know, just pavement
Yeah.
area. And so I went up to the door, and the guy came out with like this sheer like robe on,
Yeah.
and like he had on actual like panties. And so, um,
At the front door.
yeah, and he was like trying to make eye contact with me, and I just kept looking down. I was like,
Like weird eye contact? Or
yes, yes, like he would just try to like stare into my eyes. It wasn't just
normal, like respectful eye
yeah,
contact?
it wasn't just, oh well, he's talking to me, so look him in the eyes.
Yeah.
It was like I'm
you.
watching you. Like I'm onto you.
Yeah.
I want you.
I want
so,
you and this pizza.
And so I gave him the pizza. Told him how much it was gonna be. He gave me the money, and he gave me like a $10 tip in quarters and nickels in this like and he gave it to me in a Ziploc bag, but it just looked like it
Yeah,
had
it's just
holes in the
weird.
bag, and it
That's
was
weird.
yeah, it was like what the fuck did you do
Oh,
with
look,
this?
I mean, I have this extra bag of change in my drawer. I might as well just give it to him as a tip.
And, like I didn't even keep that
Really?
as a tip. I just gave it to my manager. Honestly, I didn't want the bag. Like it had looked like crumbs or residue of something like at the
Crumbs
bottom of
mixed
it.
with quarters.
I was I was just like I don't even want to know what that is.
Yeah, that's
I don't want to know whatever the fuck is going
that's
on.
really weird.
And so I just turned it in. Like I turned that in with the money, because when you get back, you have to obviously turn the money in from the delivery. So or like you have to do a cash drop. So when I did my cash drop, the first thing I did was turn the bag of change in. So yeah, I know just from experience in pizza delivery how your Ubering experience can
Yeah,
be pretty
it's
rough.
it's amazing how often Uber riders will. And that's the other thing, real quick. Like most people think, oh, being an Uber driver, you gotta deal with so much shit. Usually, most of the riders are pretty good. Like you'll have one or two here and there that freak you out or annoying. Actually, Friday night, listen to this. I had three druggy looking guys, right? Your common look, like long hair, flannel shirt, beanie, backwards hat,
Right.
and then there was a girl with them in the middle. And I was like thinking to myself, what is this girl doing with them? Like pretty good looking. Like what the fuck are you doing with these guys?
Right.
And they're all super nice actually. The one guy up front sits with me, and he asked stop at a gas station on the way back, grab some beer. I said that's fine. It wasn't out of the way, and it only took him 30 seconds. Anyways, I asked where they're all from. They're all from around here, except the guy behind me, who I can't really see in my rear view mirror, and he's I can tell just from what he's been talking like with his friends, his conversation with them. He's pretty drunk. He's got to be on some drugs. He's slurring his words, and you know, when I asked them, I say, "Where are you guys from?" They're like Roanoke, and then this guy's the only guy from Florida, and I'm like, "Oh, where from in Florida?" And then he goes on to say, the guy from Florida, he goes on to say, "Oh, I'm not from Florida. I'm from the U.S. I've traveled more places than you ever fucking will." And I'm thinking like, what's this dude's problem? Like, oh, really? You think so, huh? And then his buddy up front was trying to calm him down, like, hey, I paid for this ride, be respectful.
Yeah.
Because I'm the same way. Like, I'm gonna drive you, I'm gonna do my job, but you're not gonna be disrespectful or
Right.
talk shit. Especially that guy, like me and
Just being a
him.
complete
That wouldn't have
dick.
been a problem.
Just being a complete dickhead about
Yeah, and he was no one to fear.
it. Yeah, I
It
understand.
was like, but no, for the most part, you get pretty good people, interesting people. I drove pretty successful people, like co-worker of the CEO of Under Armour.
Really?
Yeah, I've met some pretty high up people. That was in Delaware. I'm trying to think Roanoke wise.
So, but this whole time I just now realized you had the camera turned backwards. Can't you just use your front camera?
I can, but I think it's better quality that way, and it's set up good.
It's still going.
Let's see, we've been going on for 61 minutes. Let's see. There we go. What's up?
You want to turn it around now?
Yeah, turn it around. Just in case.
All right, look, is that better? The only reason I did that is because the signs didn't show backwards.
Because the signs didn't show.
All right.
Oh, well. Fuck it.
Anyways, damn,
Oh,
tempers.
shit, you're right.
It's
Yeah, you might
amazing.
want to check your battery level.
Yeah, we'll wrap this up real quick.
So,
We got so many stories to tell, but we'll keep this one short.
yeah. We'll be back Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll be back probably Wednesday. We'll upload another one, and we'll start going live on social medias and really get our podcast out there. But as far as you guys that watch this, we're gonna start taking questions, so you can send them in. You can comment on the YouTube video. You can send them into social media, our social medias, and we will read them and answer them and give you our opinion. They can be about anything. What else do we have? Advice column, and
Yeah, that's about it.
I think that's about it. Black and White Podcast, first episode. Hope you guys enjoyed. Bobby Z,
And it's your boy Rick.
we're out. Peace.